There comes a moment in life when the battle gets too heavy, the storm too loud, and the pressure too much to bear. You've done all you can, and still the ground shakes beneath your feet. But listen, the Lord has stepped in. When you can't see the way forward, he becomes the barrier between you and what's been trying to destroy you. You may have thought you were standing alone, but the truth is, divine presence has already stepped between you and the enemy. I'll pause. The audience feel it. Speak with fire and authority. I came to tell somebody today, you are not defeated. You are not forgotten. You are protected. Every force that tried to crush you, every voice that said you wouldn't make it, obstacle that rose against your peace, the Lord has already stepped between you and it. You see, there are battles you don't even have to fight. There are wars already won in silence. While you were worrying, the Lord was working. While you were crying, he was clearing the path. Unseen hand of power moved in your favor, and now it's time for you to stand up and walk like you already have the victory. Just because you can't see the shift doesn't mean it hasn't happened. That's where faith gets tested. Not in the moments when everything is visible and clear, but in the moments when you're staring into the fog. All you have left is the whisper in your spirit that says, keep walking. You see, we live in a world that worships what can be seen. We believe in the tangible, we trust what we can measure, and we find comfort in what we can control. But when you walk with the divine, you quickly learn that not everything real is visible. Sometimes the greatest movements in your life are the ones happening behind the scenes, in the silence, in the unseen, in the quiet corners of destiny, where the Lord is arranging what you've been praying for. You might think nothing is happening. You might look around and say, I've been trying, I've been believing, I've been fighting, but nothing's changing. But listen, just because you don't see the fruit doesn't mean the seed isn't growing. The soil may be dark, but growth is taking place in that darkness. Every root that's digging deeper is a promise that one day the breakthrough will bloom. The Lord moves in the spaces you cannot see. He works in dimensions beyond your perception. You might be standing in confusion, but he's standing in control. Think about it. There are times when you were supposed to fall apart, but somehow you didn't. There were moments when the door closed and you thought it was rejection, but later you realized it was protection. That's divine intervention. That's the unseen hand of the Lord stepping between you and something that wasn't meant to reach you. You may have cried over what you lost. If you could see what he saved you from, you'd thank him for every closed door, every no, every delay. Sometimes the shift isn't in your circumstances, it's in you. The Lord starts by shifting your mind, your attitude, your focus. He'll let situations test you not to destroy you, but to transform you. When you stop depending on what you can see and start trusting what you can't, that's when your spiritual sight starts opening. That's when you begin to recognize that silence doesn't mean absence, and waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means preparation is taking place. Look at your daily life. You wake up every morning and flip a switch, expecting the light to turn on. You don't see the electricity running through the walls. You don't see the wiring, the current, the circuit, but you trust that it's there. You don't question it. You don't question it. You don't worry about it. You just know that when you flip the switch, the light responds. If you can trust something invisible like electricity, why can't you trust the invisible work of the Lord in your life? Power is already flowing. You just need to stay connected. Many people lose heart because they equate silence with inactivity. But the Lord's silence is not a sign of distance. It's a sign of strategy. He's setting the stage, aligning the pieces, preparing the opportunity. You may not see the architect, but you'll live in the house he's building. You may not see the roots growing, but you'll taste the fruit in its season. You may not see the path clearing, but one morning you'll wake up and realize the storm that terrified you has passed and peace has taken its place. In daily life, think about the moments you were stuck in traffic, frustrated because the delay made you late. But later, you find out there was an accident on the route you almost took. The delay that annoyed you was the divine stepping between you and danger. Or maybe you lost a job that you thought you needed, and months later a better door opened, one that fit your purpose and honored your worth. The loss was never loss, it was redirection. The setback was never punishment, it was positioning. You see, divine intervention is often quiet. It doesn't come with a sign or a trumpet. It comes in whispers, in pauses, in moments that don't make sense until they do. The Lord moves like the wind. You can't see where it comes from or where it's going, but you can feel it when it touches you. You can sense it when your spirit says something is shifting. You may not see it yet. You can feel that something has changed in the atmosphere around you. There are people right now who are ready to give up because they can't see the result of their prayers. But let me tell you this, seed that's underground doesn't stop being alive just because you can't see it. The process of becoming always starts in obscurity. Your unseen season is not a wasted season, it's a womb season. It's where growth takes shape. It's where the roots go deep enough to hold the weight of what's coming. So don't despise the silence. Don't curse the waiting. Don't panic in the fog. Just because you don't see the shift doesn't mean the Lord hasn't stepped in. He's separating you from the things that can't go with you into your next level. He's shielding you from distractions, disguising you in divine protection. Sometimes he'll even hide you from opportunities that look good but aren't aligned with your destiny. Trust that every unseen move has a purpose. Trust that every delay has direction. Trust that the Lord is doing what you cannot do for yourself. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared. When the time is right, the shift will no longer be invisible. What was once hidden will become evident. What was once buried will break the surface. And when that moment comes, you'll realize that every silent night, every tear, every closed door was proof that the Lord had already stepped between you and the enemy. Working in the unseen, fighting battles you didn't even know existed, and setting you up for a victory you didn't yet see coming. The presence of pressure is not the absence of protection. Many people believe that when the storms come, when the weight of life presses down, must mean something has gone wrong, that they've lost favor, that the divine has turned away. But hear me when I tell you this. Pressure is not proof that you are alone. Pressure is proof that something valuable is inside you, and the Lord is protecting it through process. Every diamond starts as a lump of coal, ordinary, unremarkable, and hidden deep beneath the surface. It takes time, heat, and incredible pressure to transform it into something beautiful, unbreakable, and priceless. That same principle is at work in your life. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it's preparation. There are moments when everything seems to be collapsing. The job you counted on slips away. Relationships you trusted crumble. The plans you built begin to fall apart. And you start asking, why is this happening to me? Why now? What did I do wrong? But what if you're not being destroyed? What if you're being shaped? What if the weight on your shoulders is molding you into who you were always meant to be? The divine doesn't use ease to build strength. Muscles grow by resistance. Trees grow deep roots by standing against the wind. Faith grows not in comfort, but in challenge. Pressure is the environment in which strength is born. Think about this. A mother in labor doesn't see pain as punishment. She knows the pain is part of the process. The pressure is not the end, it's a sign that something new is about to be born. Likewise, when life presses you, it's not to break you. It's to birth something powerful through you. Every great calling comes with a period of stretching, of discomfort, of testing. Just like a seed must break open to grow, sometimes your plans, your pride, or your patterns must crack open before new life can emerge. The breaking isn't the end, it's the beginning. Let's take it into daily life. Think about the caterpillar. It doesn't become a butterfly in comfort, wrapped tightly inside the cocoon, in darkness, under immense pressure. It looks like the end, but it's really transformation in progress. If you open that cocoon too early to help, the butterfly will die because the pressure of pushing through the cocoon is what gives its wings the strength to fly. The same happens with you. The pressure you're pushing against is developing the strength you'll need to soar. Don't curse the cocoon. It's part of your becoming. Maybe right now you're under financial pressure, emotional pressure, or spiritual pressure. You're trying to hold everything together and it feels like you're about to break. But what if the Lord is using that very situation to teach you endurance, to reveal your resilience, to show you how much power you actually carry? Pressure exposes potential. It draws out what you didn't know was in you. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. You never discover the depth of your faith until life gives you a reason to doubt it. Sometimes protection doesn't look like a shield that blocks every blow. Sometimes protection looks like being placed in the middle of the fire, but not being consumed by it. You might be in the fire, but you won't burn. You might be walking through pressure, but you won't collapse. The Lord doesn't always remove the storm. He strengthens you to stand in it. You are being preserved in pressure, not destroyed by it. Think about how gold is refined. It's placed in fire, and all the impurities rise to the surface. The heat doesn't ruin the gold, it purifies it. The fire doesn't change the gold's value, it reveals it. The hotter the fire, the purer the gold becomes. That's your life under pressure. What's being burned away are the fears, the doubts, the distractions that don't serve your purpose. What remains is your true self, unshakable, refined, and ready. If you look closely, every breakthrough story has a chapter called pressure. Athletes face pressure before victory. Entrepreneurs face pressure before success. Parents feel pressure before stability. Pressure is a signal that purpose is near. The same way a teapot whistles when the water gets hot, your soul makes noise when your spirit is being stretched. It's not weakness. It's the sound of transformation. Sometimes pressure will push you to your knees, not to crush you, but to posture you for power. It's when you get low, when you surrender control, that clarity comes. Pressure breaks pride. It silences noise. It draws your focus back to what truly matters. In that moment, you begin to realize you're not the one holding everything together. The divine is. You're being held even while you're being stretched. And one day, when you look back, you'll see that the seasons of greatest pressure were the ones that grew you the most. The nights you cried were the same nights strength was being poured into your spirit. The weight that felt unbearable was actually building endurance. You'll see that every why had a because you needed to grow, because you needed to shed old skin, because the Lord was protecting you from a smaller version of yourself. So don't run from the pressure. Don't fear it. Let it refine you. Let it shape you. Presence of pressure is not the absence of protection. It's the evidence that you are valuable. Only things of worth are tested. Only vessels destined to carry greatness are put through the fire. You are not breaking. You aren't breaking. You are becoming. You are not being crushed. You are being crafted. You are being strengthened to hold what you prayed for. The next time life presses down on you, remind yourself this is not punishment. This is proof that something divine still believes in me enough to prepare me. When you feel the pressure rise, lift your head and say, I'm not buried, planted, because buried things stay hidden, but planted things rise again, stronger, deeper, and ready to flourish. That's what pressure does. Doesn't end you, it evolves you. No force against you is eternal. Every enemy, every obstacle, every struggle has an expiration date. What you are facing right now may seem endless. It will not last forever. The pain may be deep, the weight may be heavy, but even the darkest night cannot stop the sun from rising. The same way seasons change, so will your situation. Life is not static. It moves, it shifts, it evolves. And just as winter cannot cancel spring, no hardship can cancel what has been destined for you. The Lord has a way of stepping in right when it seems like the pressure will break you, drawing a divine line and saying, that's enough. That's the power of divine timing. When the enemy thinks it has you cornered, that's when the shift begins. There are moments when the storm seems endless. You wake up tired, you go to sleep drained. Every day feels like a repeat of the same struggle. You start to wonder, will this ever change? You feel trapped in cycles of fear, cycles of doubt, cycles of loss. But let me tell you something, no cycle is permanent. Every storm has a center, but it also has an edge. You may be in the middle of it now, but eventually you'll step out into calm. The same waves that tried to drown you will one day carry you to the shore. Think about it. Nature itself testifies to this truth. The tide comes in, but it also goes out. The sun sets, but it always rises again. Nothing stays the same forever. Even the most powerful hurricane eventually runs out of energy. Likewise, whatever force has been fighting you, be it fear, failure, sickness, rejection, or opposition, it has a limit. It cannot last beyond what has been divinely allowed. Every attack comes with an expiration date. When that time comes, it must let you go. Sometimes we give the enemy too much credit. We think our struggle is stronger than our purpose, our pain louder than our promise. But the truth is, your destiny was declared before your difficulty ever showed up. What's against you is temporary. What's within you is eternal. You were built to outlast what's attacking you. You may bend, but you won't break. You may stumble, but you won't stay down. The divine has already placed a limit on how far the opposition can go. It may touch your situation, but it can't touch your soul. Think about daily life. There was a time when you faced something that felt impossible. Maybe it was a heartbreak, a financial setback, or a season of loneliness. You thought you wouldn't survive it, but look at you now. You made it through. You may still have scars, but those scars are proof of survival. They remind you that what tried to destroy you failed. You've seen seasons change before. This one will change too. Just because it hurts now doesn't mean it will hurt forever. Sometimes what feels like opposition is actually transformation. The enemy's attack might be the very thing that activates your strength. Like a weightlifter who becomes stronger by pushing against resistance, you grow every time you face something that tries to stop you. The challenge isn't there to crush you. It's there to reveal what's inside you. The Lord doesn't always remove the opposition. Sometimes He uses it to train your endurance. He lets the resistance build your resilience. Think of a bow and arrow. The further back the arrow is pulled, the greater its potential to fly forward. When you feel like you're being pulled back by pressure, by loss, by delay, remember, it's not punishment, it's positioning. You're being set up for release. You're being stretched for purpose. Every setback has a setup built inside it. What looks like a pullback is actually preparing your launch. And don't forget, sometimes the enemy doesn't even know that it's serving a greater purpose. The very thing that came to break you often becomes the thing that builds you. The same pain that hurt you ends up teaching you wisdom. The betrayal that wounded you reveals who's really for you. The loss that crushed you clears the path for what's meant for you. Nothing wasted, nothing random. Every struggle is part of a story that will one day make sense. In everyday life, you see this principle play out over and over again. Think about rain. People often complain when it rains, it's inconvenient, it's gloomy, it messes up plans. The same rain that ruins a picnic nourishes the ground, fills the rivers, and prepares the earth for growth. Without that storm, there would be no harvest. Without pressure, no progress. Without challenge, no change. The temporary discomfort produces lasting strength. There's also something freeing about knowing your struggle has an expiration date. You stop giving it power over your peace. You stop letting temporary storms dictate permanent emotions. You start reminding yourself, this is not forever. This is just for now. And when you shift your mindset from panic to patience, everything changes. Because faith doesn't deny the storm. It declares the storm won't last. Even the enemy has limits. Even darkness must bow to light. The moment light appears, darkness disappears. The moment truth stands up, lies fall silent. You are walking through a battle that already has a finish line. Key is endurance, to keep moving, to keep believing, to keep showing up, even when it hurts. The winds may howl, they cannot uproot what the divine has planted. So when it feels endless, remind yourself, no force against me is eternal. The heartbreak will heal, burden will lift, the fog will clear, the pain will fade. Because what's working against me is temporary, but what's working for me is eternal. Every force that rises against you must eventually fall. Every weapon formed against you loses power when the divine steps in and declares, enough, one day soon, you'll look back and realize the enemy that looked unbeatable was actually temporary. You'll see that the very storm that tried to drown you carried you closer to your purpose. You'll understand that your strength was born in struggle, your faith was forged in fire, and your peace was the prize waiting on the other side of the storm. When you stop fighting what's beyond your strength and start trusting the one who fights for you, peace takes the place of panic. There's a power that comes when you learn to stand still, not because you've given up, because you finally understand that not every battle requires your sword. Some victories aren't won by movement, they're won by stillness. Stillness is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment when your spirit says, I've done my part, and now I trust the divine to do the rest. You see, most people exhaust themselves not because of the size of their battles, because of their refusal to stop fighting battles that were never theirs to begin with. When you learn to stand still, you stop wasting energy trying to control what's already in divine hands. In life, we often mistake action for progress. We think that if we're not moving, we're losing. But standing still is not the same as standing idle. Stillness is not stagnation, it's sacred surrender. It's that quiet strength that says, I'm not running, I'm not hiding, I'm just resting in the assurance that everything will unfold as it should. Sometimes, the greatest act of faith is to do nothing except trust. To stand still even when your emotions are screaming, your mind is racing, your surroundings are shaking. There are moments when the best thing you can do is stop struggling and let the divine take over. Think about a person caught in deep water. The more they fight the current, the faster they sink. But the moment they relax and float, they rise to the surface. The current that was drowning them begins to carry them. That's how life works. When you stop thrashing in panic and start trusting the flow, the same situation that once threatened to drown you begins to lift you. Peace doesn't come from fighting everything. It comes from trusting the one who controls everything. Maybe you've been fighting battles on all fronts, trying to fix people, force timing, and figure out outcomes. You've been trying to carry what was never meant to be on your shoulders, and that's why you're tired. You weren't designed to control everything. You were designed to trust. There's a difference between control and commitment. Control drains you, commitment directs you. When you release control, you give the divine room to operate. Sometimes your biggest miracle is waiting for you to simply get out of the way. Every day, we see this truth in simple forms. Think about planting a seed. Once you've placed it in the soil, your job is done. You can water it, nurture it, protect it. You can't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. If you do, you'll kill it. The growth happens underground in silence where your eyes can't see. In the same way, when you've done what you can, prayed, worked, prepared, you must stand still and let the process unfold. You don't rush a seed, you trust its season. There's also peace in knowing that you're not the only one responsible for your breakthrough. The Lord has a way of fighting battles that your strength could never win. Sometimes you think you're losing because you can't see what's happening in the unseen. But the battle is shifting in your favor, quietly, behind the curtain of time. The same way a lawyer speaks for you in court, the divine is speaking for you in situations where your voice can't reach. The victory is being arranged while you wait. In daily life, you can see the beauty of stillness in nature. The ocean waves may crash violently at the surface, deep beneath the water. The water is calm, unmoved, steady. That's what stillness looks like, having a calm center even when the surface of your life is chaotic. You may not be able to stop the waves, but you can learn to be still within them. You can learn to trust that the storm won't last forever and that your anchor will hold. Standing still doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the inner work, shifting your focus from panic to peace, from worry to worship, from control to confidence. It means holding your ground, refusing to let fear dictate your next move. When you stand still, you give faith the space to grow. You allow your heart to catch up with your hope. You give the divine permission to handle what you cannot. Sometimes standing still feels like losing, but in truth, it's winning differently. It's saying, I don't have to fight to prove my worth. I don't have to chase what's already mine. Don't have to panic when I'm protected. That's maturity. Learning to trust timing, learning to rest in purpose. When you trust, you walk lighter. You sleep deeper. You stop rehearsing what went wrong and start expecting what will go right. Consider how nature never rushes, yet everything is accomplished. Rivers don't force their way to the ocean. They flow naturally toward it. Flowers don't stress themselves to bloom. They simply open when the season is right. Birds don't worry about where their next meal will come from. They sing and fly, trusting that provision will meet them. The same energy that sustains creation sustains you. The moment you stand still and trust that flow, life begins to align in your favor. There's also strength in silence. Not every attack deserves your response. Not every storm needs your panic. When you learn to stand still, you take your power back. You're no longer reacting to everything around you. You're responding from a place of calm authority. Peace becomes your weapon. Calm becomes your armor. When everyone else is running in circles, you'll be standing firm, unshaken, unbothered, unbroken. The truth is, you'll never find peace by trying to control everything. Peace comes when you realize you don't have to. What's meant for you won't miss you, and what's not meant for you won't stay, no matter how tightly you hold on. Standing still means trusting that the right doors will open without force and the wrong ones will close without regret. It means believing that every delay has purpose, every detour has direction, and every moment of stillness is a setup for motion. So stop fighting battles that drain your soul. Stop wrestling with what's already been decided in your favor. Stop letting fear make you frantic. Be still, stand tall. Trust deeply. The same hands that hold the stars are holding your story. The same power that keeps the universe in balance is working in your life right now. When you stand still and trust, peace will flood your heart like a river. The noise will fade. The worry will dissolve. You'll realize that the battle was never yours to begin with. You were just meant to stand still and watch victory unfold.